Oh, here we go.
There we go. Hello again, everyone. I'm Richard Weil, and I welcome you into the NRC Helpful Moment. This is our 118th, I believe. That's right.
I think it's 17th. I hope it's 17th. That's what I wrote.
Yeah, I can't count. 117th episode of the NRC Helpful Moment, and we are certainly always happy to have Mr. Brian Devine from Top Line Management and Cafe Fuel.
Happy to be here.
How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing great. How about you, Richard?
Good. So our senior consultant from Denver is Sandy Clark, and she has joined us on multiple occasions over the last year, and she has been providing us with tremendously beneficial information for food service operators all across the country regarding supply chain. And let's go ahead and welcome in Sandy, and go ahead, get started, Sandy.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
So I want to start with just a little information about food inflation. Last year, food inflation was almost 4%, which is almost 3% more than regular. And experts expect it to continue and come in at about 3% this year. But you all know that there is a lot of noise underneath that. It's not just everything gets increased by 3%. Last year, proteins and grains took especially hard hits. So corn was up 25%, wheat 15%, and soy a whopping 37%. The corn and soy was led mostly by China because China imports that to feed their hogs. And they had a very bad bout with African swine flu. And so they were restarting their hog herds. And Brazil and the US are the two biggest countries they import from. And Brazil actually ran out of their own soy this last year. They had a very bad crop, so they were importing as well. So mixed in with all of this, hog futures for the later in this year are up about 20%, also being led by bacon. America is just insatiable with bacon. So you're also seeing now some coffee increases. The high fructose corn syrup impacts you with your beverages, packaging of all types, styro, plastic, cardboard, film, aluminum, it's all headed up. And then, of course, fuel. We are still seeing oil futures climbing. So we're impacted globally now by food and food inflation. We talked about China, but Russia has now made moves to totally curb any exports of their grains as the grain situation gets tighter. So there'll be more action on that. And Brazil is working toward really limiting their exports of beef. So the world's eyes are on coming out of the pandemic and what that does to the food supply and to pricing. So the lead article in the Denver Post last Thursday talked about employee shortages for restaurants and how hard it is for restaurants to find staff to get fully back open again. Well, that works for manufacturers and distributors too. So manufacturing and processing is gearing up, but at the same time, they have to find product, they have to find packaging, they had cut way back, they have to find people and they have to train these people. And then there's the transportation issue. So if you remember, the last few years, there's been just a real truck driver shortage. At one point, they were saying as many as 300,000 truck drivers short for running effectively all over the country. Well, there are 80,000 fewer truck drivers today than there were before we went into pandemic. So as we try to gear back up again, that's really rough. And also scary is that the average age of these truck drivers is 50. So I just wanted to spend a little time and clue you in on something called the Drive Safe Act, which is in Congress. This act is asking that 18 to 21-year-olds be allowed to drive interstate.
Wow.
Today, you have to be 21 and older to be able to drive interstate. So there are a lot of benchmarks that drivers have to hit to be able to be allowed to drive under this Drive Safe Act. There's a long training program with a certified driver trainer and things that they have to do. This act has been up before Congress before, 2014 and I think 2018. Mm-hmm. And they have trouble passing it because people are really leery about an 18-year-old whizzing down the highway in what is essentially an 80,000-pound torpedo. And so I don't know if it will pass or not, but here in Colorado, Polis has already approved this if it passes through the feds this time. So the International Food Service Distributors Association, IFTA, has also come out strongly in support of this, partly because food service distributors call their drivers industrial athletes. They don't just drive. They pull out of the lot with a full truck and it's empty when they come back home. So this would be a whole new pool of potential food service delivery drivers. But going back, so distributors, as manufacturers are gearing back up, are having some supply problems again. Longer lead times. So a product that they used to have to order 2 weeks in advance, all of a sudden it's 3 or 4. As the manufacturers are training new people, loads come in missing some product sometimes. And the distributors are gearing up themselves. So they have that same hiring problem you do, getting night warehouse and then the driver issue. So we're seeing a little rough spot where deliveries may be missing more things, more mispicks, maybe a little late, but it's nothing like pandemic and starting pandemic. I think they'll pull out of this pretty quickly. So I saw good news today. A survey says that 57% of Americans are completely comfortable dining inside and 68% are comfortable dining outside. Those are good numbers for coming out of a very scary time with pandemic. So as always, plan ahead, keep a little extra stock, and stay on top of your pricing.
There you go. There's a good segue. Stay on top of your pricing. Mm-hmm. We are certainly encouraging clients to increase your pricing. You have a very good opportunity to justify it. And in the eyes of the consumer, they will understand because the amount of information in press regarding shortages, labor shortages, cost of labor, cost of goods, more than justifies you taking a 5 to 12 or even a 15% price increase on certain things. Do the menu engineering. Take the time to do it right. Dissect your menu. See what's moving. Contact us. We're happy to help you with that. We have the absolute skills and great templates to be able to get that done for you with our great team of professional consultants. One other segue for me. Great news is starting Friday, make sure you are in line to get your application in for the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, RRF. The first 21 days will be held aside for women-owned businesses of 51% or more, or a veteran-owned business of 51% or more, or economically or socially disadvantaged owned business as well. We believe and we are confident that we know how to get your application in without having an error. And what I'm saying about this is the SBA has said they think that they're going to run out of money fairly quickly, whether it's in the first 21 days or if it's shortly thereafter. If you make an error on your application, they're putting you to the back of the line. They've made that comment open, and we are prepared as National Restaurant Consultants to help your application in correctly the first time. We understand what needs to be done each and every step of the way.
Richard, did we lose you?
Looks
Oh,
like
no.
he's frozen at a painful spot.
I know, it sure does. Richard, if you can hear me, I'm going to jump in, and hopefully you'll be able to come right back in. What I wanted to comment on today, and I'm going to keep it short, we're at 10 minutes already, is we've been talking about pricing, and some of you are going to have to raise your prices, and I'm guessing most are. Please just be very upfront about why you were raising your prices, because yes, we are all hearing about this in our industry, but the average person isn't hearing about it quite at the same level. So they might be surprised by a price increase. So just let them know. What I don't recommend is something that I have had to talk to some clients about recently, is adding a surcharge, like a COVID surcharge. People, they absolutely hate that. They feel like they're getting nickel and dimed. They don't want it, and they won't respond well to it. I've seen it enough. So just be open. Hey, all of our prices are increasing. Here's why. And we're going to bring the prices back down as soon as we possibly can. And we really appreciate your support. Like, something along those lines is all you need to do to make people feel comfortable and confident coming into your place of business. So that's all I wanted to cover today. Richard looks like he's still having video issues. Sandy, thank you so much for taking the time to really walk us through all of this great stuff today. Extremely valuable. I know people are going to be watching this over and over again to get all that great information. And if there's anything that any of us can do to support you, reach out here through Facebook, get in touch with us on our website.
Absolutely.
Thanks. Come, just let us know how we can support you, because that's what we do. All right. That's it for us. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.